am Chanel and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video basically just allowing you to know my experience, my first year experience here in Austin, Texas. This is for people who are looking to move and just need advice or are scared or whatever the case is. So I have other videos up on my channel about how I moved, what I did, but this is just my personal experience, literally giving you everything. So not what I did to move, which was my last video, but this is what actually happened to me the whole time, like when I got here. Okay, bam. So it's January. So it's January 2018, it's a new year. Me and my cousin, we talking about new beginnings and like everything we gonna do, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. Okay, let me calm down. I was in my junior year. So I'm going through hell, life is fucked up, blah, blah, blah. So life is hell, so I'm like, fuck this shit, I don't wanna be here anymore. And I'm telling my mom, like, okay, I have one more year of school left, so I think after I graduate, I'm gonna take my ass somewhere else. I'm gonna apply to graduate schools out of Pennsylvania. I'm just gonna take the opportunity and just leave. So then 2 days later, me and my cousin on the phone, and that's when she tells me that she's going with my cousin to Houston to help her move, blah, blah, blah. The whole time that she's there telling me like, yeah, like we seen this place, we stopped here, it's like so different. Oh, like their hoods aren't even hoods, like they hood, but like they look really nice even in the hood, like they got hella apartments, it's so nice down there. All the apartments be having like nice pools and this and that. Like when you live in the hood, like all of that stuff is appealing. Like you like, oh really? Oh for real? Like all right, bet. So my cousin was like, okay, in March I'm gonna move down there with her. I'm gonna get my taxes and I'm gonna move down there with her. Skip to now somehow May with these conversations turns into I'm leaving in March. Fuck school. Oh yeah, so I failed out of school basically. So because of that, I was like, yeah, now it's like, well, if I didn't get out of school, I might as well just leave. Like, that's how that conversation happened. So now I go back to my mom, like, this is like a week later, mind you. And I'm like, yeah, well, I think, like, I'm just gonna leave. Like, and she's like, what? So we get our taxes in late February. And then my cousin had issues with, like, her house. And I'm not gonna discuss that she was living in. I was living at home because, like I said, I had a fucked up 2017. So we end up leaving March 1st. Well, February 28th. I put my 2 weeks in at my job, transferred my job. I was able to get an interview over the phone with the job that I was at. And then when I got here, like my literal first day I got here, I think we arrived on Wednesday. I made my interview for the job like on Friday because I wanted to have time to like visit and figure everything out before I'm just trying to go to a job interview. So February 28th, we were supposed to leave at 7 a.m. So because of that, my cousin got there late. I was waiting on her. We missed our flight. So we were like, okay, fuck, like dang, like this is a bad omen. Like we worried, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, it's me, her, and her son. So we already like scared as fuck. Like we don't know what we're gonna do. And now they're like, oh, well the next flight doesn't leave till 5 p.m. What? 5 p.m.? It's 7 a.m. What the fuck are we gonna do till 5 o'clock at night? We don't wanna be here no more. We had our heart set on leaving Philadelphia. We already said our goodbyes. Now we got an entire day to deal with. So we like, fuck this shit. We get our flight and come to find out the flight they booked us for is from 5 p.m. and it's taking us to Vegas. And then we're thinking that we get to Vegas at 11 p.m. and then our flight leaves at 11:30. Like our flight from Vegas to Houston leaves at 11:30. Come to find out, the flight from Vegas doesn't leave until 11:30 in the morning. So we're there in Vegas for 12 hours. But we have a kid, so it's not like we could leave and come back or something like that. And then we like we have the money that we have, but I had like $3,000, she had like $2,000 or whatever. And we're trying to like keep that money for a necessity because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what we're going to encounter when we get there. So we're trying to be really, really, really like careful, you know. So now while we here, I got my laptop, so I'm like, okay, well we need to book a hotel anyway. So I'm booking a hotel for us to get when we get there. And mind you, this flight we were supposed to take a flight to Austin. We had decided on Austin, and we were supposed to take it to Austin, but we ended up because we missed our flight, we ended up having to take a flight to Houston. We get to Vegas and I'm booking the flight. I tell my cousin like, yeah, this, not the flight, the hotel. I'm telling her like this hotel's gonna cost $300. So we're supposed to split everything down the middle. So for a week, we had a week to, we was gonna give ourselves a week to find an apartment. I got a rental booked for a week. That was $300. So we split everything down the middle or whatever.
So just to be clear, I'm saying we split everything down the middle, but I'm trying to say is we plan to split everything down the middle. So while I'm initially booking these things and conversing with her about the plans and the bookings and paying for these things, I'm swiping my card for these different things myself to pay in the meantime, and then we were going to split everything down the middle.
So then after we get to Houston and we're like, okay, well, it's up to 2 hours away from Austin. We're just gonna take a Greyhound from Houston to Austin. So none of the hotels had good enough prices. So we like, all right, we're just gonna go to this motel. Like, it's only gonna be for a week, whatever. We gonna find a vacant apartment. It's gonna be lit. Like, it's whatever. Like, we gotta struggle before we get there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we get in this room and the fucking room smelled like Newport. We tried to spray everything we could in this room and it just was funky. I don't know why we didn't go back and say, all right, bet we just going to take the room upstairs. We didn't even think to do that. We just like, fuck it, we done chose this shit, now we gotta deal with it. So then we do that, we get the car, we riding around, we sightseeing. I go to my job interview. The next day I start working. Now my cousin's going on job interviews. I'm still going on job interviews. We, getting jobs and stuff like that. Everything's fine. So my cousin was having a hard time going on job interviews. She was able to get her son into school and she was going on job interviews, but it was like, people was like, oh, well, you have to have this requirement, you have to have that requirement, stuff they had to do with like being in Texas, like, oh, you need the Texas ID or you need a definitive address for this and blah, blah, blah. So it was like a little bit of a struggle for her. But for the most part, it was cool, whatever. We figured it out.
Okay, so I did forget to add in the fact that so we had two rentals. So the first one, it was fine, but the last day of the first one, my cousin crashes the car, and like I didn't have to pay for that car, but then we got a new car, and then she like ran up all the gas and stuff on the car, and we had to pay extra fees and stuff like that. So like we were supposed to split all that stuff down the middle too, and then like as well as the rental fees and stuff like that for apartments.
So we ended up finding an apartment. We go visit apartments. We found one. We lock in on this apartment. Mind you, the whole time we were paying like fees for being considered for certain apartments. We're supposed to be splitting the money in half. Blah blah blah. So mind you, the whole time like I never like asked her for my money or anything like that because like I'm like, all right, well the understanding is that we're going to, not even understanding, we said we were going to split the money, like. So it wasn't like, oh, you pay for this and I pay for that. It was more like, all right, everything we're gonna split down the middle just so we can be safe. We discussed that several times. Like we said it in passing and everything on several occasions. So I never thought to ask her for my money or anything like that. We were there the week of March 1st, so we had to stay in the hotel for an extra week or whatever. So which was like a Saturday. So we moved into our apartment on a Saturday. Then I ended up getting 2 jobs. And so I wasn't around even more because I'm like, okay, well, I need 2 jobs. And I didn't think of it in that way in the moment, but it was like a survival thing. So I was offered another job, but I also, me getting offered the other job and taking the other job made it hard for her to get another job because we were trying to split time between, someone being home with her son and all that stuff and trying to work together. So I do admit that like me taking that other job probably made it a little bit harder or whatever for her, but I don't know. But yeah, so things went left. We weren't really talking like that. We ended up like just beefing a lot. But by the time our rent was due for the first month, she had only been working for a week, but the job got paid per week. So I'm like, all right, well, she got paid the day after the rent was due. So I'm like, okay, when she get paid or whatever, like she just gonna give me my money back. But by this time I had to already ask her for my money back for all the other stuff. So I was like, okay, like is she gonna give me my money back? Like how somebody don't, like it's like you learn from your experience. And I had to ask her for the money back. Like I had to like literally go and ask her, like, and I was just baffled, like, and I was kind of irritated that I had to ask, like, where's my money? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't say it like that. Like obviously I was like, yeah, so I brought it up in like a really casual way. So that caused a lot of tension. So by the time we was in the apartment, we like, all right, whatever, that's water under the bridge. We just gonna keep moving. And then the whole not having a job thing, her trying to find a job thing, it just made things worse or whatever. So April 1st was a Sunday, and we had till the 3rd to pay our rent, which was a Tuesday, and she didn't get paid till Wednesday, I think. Contact and stuff. So she went to go visit our cousin in Houston, but I didn't know. So when we were like, already having issues about like the rent and all that stuff, like then I came home one day and she just wasn't there. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck she at because like we had a routine. So I'm looking like, where'd she go? Like she not here. So I was so confused or whatever. So
I was just really alarmed when I got home and she was missing. Like, it wasn't really about, her having to tell me something or me being in charge or any of that. It was just like, we're here alone, literally no family to speak of, no friends. We don't know anyone. We've been here a month, and I just come home one night in the middle of the night and you're not there with no explanation. So that's where my perspective was coming from, just for clarification.
So I'm texting her like, are you okay? Like, text me back, blah, blah, blah. Where are you at? Blah, blah. So I found out from another family member that she was in Houston. So I'm like, okay, well, now I know she okay. Now we're rent money. Like, now I'm like, all right, bitch, well, you okay? So what's up? Like, it was like that. So we got into a big argument, and I admit that I definitely could have like chilled, but I was so ready. You know how like you just are ready to be done with a situation, and like your first out, you just take it. Like, it was one of those situations. I was like, well, I'm gonna just pay the rent or whatever, and I'm just gonna leave like the apartment or whatever. I'm just gonna move out. Like, I don't know. So I went through that with my cousin or whatever, and like I still love her to death, definitely, but she ended up leaving or whatever, and she ended up leaving, so I was stuck with the apartment by myself. $1,400. I had 2 jobs, but I barely had enough money to pay the rent. So I was like basically working to live and living to work. So I really didn't have any type of like stability. I was just struggling. Got to the point where I had to like get payday loans, and I couldn't pay them back. And even the payday loans, because apparently like company type of places to rent, they don't accept partial payments when you're late. So you can't just give them $500, $1,000 here and there. You have to give them the full amount due. And literally every day after the first day late is $10 extra. So if I'm a week late, I gotta pay $70 extra. So now instead of $1,400, I'm paying $1,400 and $70. Now if I don't have $1,400 and $70, they won't take the money. If I have $1,400, they won't take it. So mind you, in the midst of all this, I'm like talking to my ex and like, dealing with like a toxic situation, and we get into it. He comes to visit, we get into it. It's a whole big thing. I had to call the cops. It was a lot. My clothes getting ruined, and now I have no clothes, and I'm like in this midst of this depression. Like, if you ever experience depression, and you don't experience it one time. Depression is a lingering thing, and it tips the scales. Things tip the scale. Like, you're basically trying to balance life and balance your emotions your entire life, and then when depression hits, it's because things are like tipping the scale to get you there. I'm sad, and I cut all my hair off. I'm a really dramatic person, but honestly, I didn't do it in like thinking that like, oh yes, I'm sad, I'm gonna cut my hair off. It just happened. It was very emotional, and it took for me to. I was about to lose my job, and I just was in this really dark place, and I just felt like, I'm a failure. I don't know why I thought I could do this. Obviously, like, I was in over my head, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just thinking all these things. The thing with my ex coming, and then like money problems, this was all happening over the course of, it was like July, and then August comes. It's my birthday. My brother comes at the end of July to visit, and I'm still having money troubles, but I'm not telling my mom, I'm not telling anybody, I'm not borrowing money from anybody, because with the thing that happened with my cousin when she left, a lot of my family like kind of alienated me. So while she was here, people were calling us, texting us, even mostly calling her and texting her, but then people would like shoot me a text or hit me on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever, ask me am I okay, and basically nobody called me or text me anymore, including like my immediate family, my other cousins. No, like, people just stopped talking to me basically. And the only person I had really was my mom. And then I was going through all that stuff with my ex, and then I was going through a lot of money troubles. I just felt like shit, like, to be honest. I was like, damn, like my whole family hate me. Like, aside from being literally alone, like, I felt like emotionally, mentally alone. Like, I didn't have anybody to go to outside of my mom. Like, I went into this deep depression, and I had hella anxiety attacks, and I was just literally, I would go to work, get my equipment, go to my post, and cry. like, and cry and cry and cry and ask, why is this happening to me? Why is, like, what did I do? Like, I'm just trying to, and then no matter what I did, it got worse and worse and worse. My little brother left. I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm gonna have to break my lease. And it still took me 3 months to really struggle to decide, okay, I'm gonna have to break my lease. So I got an eviction notice in October. And I started to, like, I don't remember getting an eviction notice. Well, I lost my first job, and my second job that was in the morning, I just kept that job, and it paid more anyway. So I lost that second job, started working at like Target or whatever, but it was like for way less than, you know, doing way more hours, working way less. I was struggling, and then I was doing bad at Target because I was so fucked up in the head. Like, so I'm crying on the phone. I'm trying to, like, you know, I'm trying to be professional, but I'm crying. They weren't really understanding. And then I was like, can you just give me a little bit more time? Like, y'all, and it wasn't that I wasn't paying my rent though. Like, I'm behind significantly. Now I'm thousands of dollars in the hole. And I'm like, it's not that I'm not paying my rent. I'm literally working every day. My check is like $1,100 or whatever the case is. So I can't hand you this $1,100 because you don't want it. You don't want to take the $1,100. You don't want it. Like, I have them. I can literally give you the money, but you don't want what I have. You just want it all. And I'm like, I don't have it all. Like, it's basically a trap. If you ever fall into that, it's a trap. Like, you have to be wary of those things. Like, you have to make sure you, like, it was the worst. Since like October, and I still didn't end up breaking my lease till November. Like, I was still trying to figure shit out. So that happened, and it kind of made me figure out, like, damn, like, I can't trust myself, I can't trust my cousin, I can't trust my ex, I can't trust anybody, I can't trust my family members because they don't even fuck with me. I can't trust anybody. Maybe I can't trust myself. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And then all the doubts come, and I'm just in a slump. And I'm literally like, fuck it, I'm just going to have to live in my car. Like, I was really like ready to have to live in my car because my job had showers. I was like, listen, I'm going to just be at work. I'm going to just wait till nobody's there, and I'm going to take a shower. And I'm going to just live in my car. Like, I'm going to just have to do it until I find a place. Like, I found this place that I'm in now. I had all of that stuff. I had to get a U-Haul. So mind you, by this time I have a car. I go to the fucking U-Haul place, go get the U-Haul that day, and I was on the second floor of my other apartment too. So I had to like I was dragging my freaking bed, my mattress, my box spring. I'm dragging my couch all by myself into the elevator, down the stairs, into the U-Haul, and then like, it was the worst. So then like somebody's dog shit on this curb right where I parked my U-Haul, like I guess in the midst of me waiting, and my couch got drugged through shit. So yeah. I guess that was like a symbolism of like my life at the time. I don't know. 10 a.m. I get the U-Haul, and it's raining, right? So the guy's like, okay, you can park your car, and we have places for you to park your car in the back, so you can just take the U-Haul from here, and then you would just come back and get your car once you return the U-Haul. And I'm going, and why I back into a fucking pole and damage the whole back of my fucking car? Life was kicking my ass, bro. Like, I sat there and I just cried for like a good 10 minutes. Good things are starting to happen eventually. So right before I moved in here, I got promoted and I started making way more money so I could quit my second job. So that was nice. And then I got this apartment, which was way less money. I was able to leave that apartment building. I was able to, take a break from the people that were in my life that were just really toxic. And eventually I started to feel a little bit better. Like, my first year here was literal hell. But I had to go through a journey of that, breaking relationships and then fixing them, and, coming to terms with myself and liking myself and having to be like, I like to be alone, but it's one thing when you have to be alone. That's not the same thing. So it was really hard coming to terms with like, damn, people really don't fuck with me. Like, what did I do? And my depression and like my anxiety, it was just a lot. So yeah, I don't want this to deter people from moving. If you decide that you want to move out of your state or out of your comfort zone to a new place on your own, like, it's really scary. You really become an adult. And that sounds so shitty. Like, you really become an adult after struggling, right? But struggle make you stronger. And like, if I can get through all of that, I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared to leave again. I'm not scared to, try something new or, fail again, because I know, like, I'm gonna get through it. Like, I know I got myself through that, and I was literally isolated. The only person that helped me get through it was my mom and myself. So I literally was able to get through that on my own, basically, because my mom wasn't even physically here, but she helped me. Those little $20 and $30 cash apps definitely came in handy. So I'm very appreciative of that. But yeah, please like this video, comment down below your experience, or if you are interested in moving, or just anything you have to say about this topic. And if you fucking with the videos, definitely subscribe, because I'm going to be doing more videos about moving. Yeah, so comment, subscribe, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.